have three chapters. You have three chapters. First chapter is chapter 1. Thus is your demand. So second unit has totally three chapters. Consumer behavior, demand analysis and elasticity of demand. You all must be familiar with these three chapters because these chapters were there in second year of PUC. But since it's been long time, you would have also forgotten it. So let us revise now. Consumer behavior. So what is consumer behavior? As a consumer, we spend our money to buy different goods and services. As a consumer, we spend our money to buy different goods and services. Now, you all have so many goods. Watch that you are wearing, then notebook, bag, mobile, shoes. So there are so many things that each one of us will buy using our money. We all know it is a natural behavior that consumers spend their money to buy different goods and services. Now question is, how do they spend? Do they spend it blindly without thinking? Just do they spend their money only to buy one product or only to buy two products? Do we do that? If you have 100 rupees or if you have 10,000 rupees, if you have 10,000 rupees, with that 10,000 will you buy only one or two products, or you will spend that 10,000 rupees to buy as many products as possible? Why? Because as a consumer, our objective is maximum satisfaction. As a consumer, our objective is maximum satisfaction. Okay? So consumer behavior is all about how does a consumer spends his or her, I can say income or money, both the things are same, on different goods and services. On different goods and services, so as to maximize his or her satisfaction. Okay. So we all spend our income. Maybe as a student you are not earning money, but your mom and dad is giving you money. So that is also your money, your income. And how do you spend that money which your mom and dad is giving you? Never for just one product, correct? You keep that money. Sometimes you eat different items that you like to eat. Sometimes you buy different items that you want to buy. Sometimes you use that money to give a gift to your friend on birthday. So all of us spend our money on different goods and services to satisfy most of our wants, because our objective is maximum satisfaction. As a consumer, our objective is maximum satisfaction. Okay? And with one product, we will not get maximum satisfaction. Clear? So, satisfaction, this word is very important for consumer behavior. In fact, for this unit. Okay? As a consumer, our objective is maximum satisfaction. When we study about supply and production, then we talk about businesses. So, objective of any business is maximum profit. Objective of any business is maximum profit. So, when we are studying consumer behavior, we will take ourselves, imagine ourselves as a consumer. As a consumer, we will understand this chapter. When we go to production and supply, as a businessman or businesswoman, as a company owner, we will understand that chapter. Okay? Because when you are doing business, as a businessman or businesswoman, your objective will be maximum profit. Correct? So, every time, whether as a producer or as a consumer, we have an ultimate objective. So, as a consumer, satisfaction. So, in general words, we use the term satisfaction, or we simply say, like, I had ice cream over there, it was really tasty, I liked it very much. Or sometimes you have pizza in some place and you say, I had pizza, it was really delicious. So you are expressing that you liked it, you liked the taste of that ice cream or pizza. So when you are expressing that you like it very much, you are actually expressing your satisfaction level from that ice cream or that pizza or any other product that you consume. Okay? Everyone clear? So that satisfaction which a product gives us, the satisfaction that the product gives us is called utility in economics. In economics. Okay? So the next important thing is under consumer behavior, to understand this better, we'll divide it in two parts. So, just now I said, how does the consumer spend his income to get maximum satisfaction? So, there are two things. One is satisfaction, that is utility. In economic terms, we use the word utility. In general, we say satisfaction. Okay? I really like this product. So when you say that I really liked this product, or you went to watch a movie and you liked that movie and you said it was really nice movie, nice action, nice drama. So you are expressing your satisfaction level. So when you enjoy watching a movie or you like that movie, then you have high satisfaction from that movie. So in general we use the word satisfaction. But in economic terms it is utility. And next thing we saw that how consumers spend his income. How consumers spend his income. How a consumer spends his income on different goods and services to maximize satisfaction. So the next important term is consumer budget, which you can also say consumer's income. Okay? We'll be understanding this chapter under these two headings. So far everyone is clear? Okay. Now, what is utility? So utility, just now I said you, any product that we use will give us certain level of satisfaction. You may have a coffee from one shop, you may not like it, and coffee from another shop, you may like it very much. So the second shop is giving you more satisfaction. The second coffee is giving you more satisfaction. Then you have ice cream in two different shops, or maybe in the same shop, different flavor. They gave you strawberry flavor of ice cream, you didn't like it. Then vanilla flavor of ice cream, you like it very much. Then pizza. So one pizza may be more tasty and the other may not be so tasty. Right? So every time from one product we get less satisfaction, and from one product we get more satisfaction. It means a product that we consume has capacity to satisfy our wants. Right or wrong? Any product. You can also talk about service. You one song that you listen to. Song is what? It is entertainment. Entertainment is a service. So one song, one movie you like very much. That gave you more satisfaction. Another song, another movie you didn't like so much. So less satisfaction. So every product or service that we use in our everyday life will give certain level of satisfaction. So utility refers to want satisfying capacity. Want satisfying capacity. When consumed. So only when you consume a product, suppose so a product will give us satisfaction only when we consume it. Only when we consume it. For example, you purchase a mobile and you have just kept it in box. I want it to be new for next 2 years. Okay, box space. So you're never taking that mobile out of the box and not inserting SIM. So obviously, if you don't use that mobile, that mobile will never give you satisfaction. Right? Similarly, suppose like your mom or dad, they've got gulab jamun, one full box, and you're just keeping it. Okay, I will have it, not today, tomorrow. So if you don't have that gulab jamun or that sweet, then you cannot get satisfaction. Right? Similarly, any other product. Only when we use a product or a service, we will get satisfaction from it. That is why at the end I wrote when consumed. Okay? Clear? Now, utility is divided into three stages. Okay? So, first is total utility. Marginal utility. Okay, no, average is not taken here. You just take 2. Okay. So total utility as marginal utility. Okay. See, what's the name? You have to first write this. Okay, just first you have to write this, then second this, then this. Okay. So total utility and marginal utility. Total utility, total is all the units together. Suppose you have totally 5 apples, or 5 bananas, or 5 ice creams, or 5 pizza, any example you can think of. Okay? So satisfaction from all the 5 units of an apple or banana or any other product. That is called total utility. Total utility is utility or satisfaction derived from consumption of all the units of a product. Total utility refers to utility or satisfaction derived from consumption of all the units of a product. Okay? So after that, marginal utility. So marginal utility is marginal. In every chapter, I said you yesterday that in every chapter we have some common words, like schedule, curve, similarly marginal. If you study about production, then average product, marginal product, total product. If you study about cost, average cost, marginal cost, total cost. If you study about revenue, then average revenue, marginal revenue, total revenue. So marginal is again a common word that would be repeated in every chapter. Okay? So you have to understand the meaning of marginal. Marginal means additional. Marginal means additional. Okay? Or extra. So here we talk about marginal utility means satisfaction derived from consumption of every extra unit or additional unit of a product. Satisfaction derived from consumption of extra unit of a product. Right? The first couple you had, so there total utility and marginal utility. Second one you had, so from second what you are getting, that second is extra unit. Then third, so third is extra unit. Okay? Everyone is clear with total utility and marginal utility? No confusion, right? Anyone? Right. So now we'll be studying about approaches to study consumer behavior or you can also say approaches to measure utility. Okay, so if you have an MCQ, like what are the approaches to measure utility? And they give you many options. Okay, like law of demand, law of supply, law of diminishing returns, law of marginal percentage of cost, and they also give you these two options. Okay, so you have to opt these two options. Approaches to study consumer behavior. Cardinal utility approach and ordinal utility approach. And the same thing can be asked also for approaches to use to measure utility. How do we measure utility? So using cardinal approach and ordinal approach. Okay. Now how do we use these two approaches to study consumer behavior. So I told you that consumer behavior is how a consumer spends his income, his or her income, on different goods and services in order to maximize his satisfaction. So here cardinal utility approach and ordinal utility approach will express that, will measure that utility. Okay? And when we measure utility using these two approaches, then we are very clear which product is giving more satisfaction and which is giving less satisfaction. So obviously, a product that is giving more satisfaction, people will buy that. And a product which is giving less, people will buy that in less quantity. Correct? So this cardinal utility approach is supported by classical economists. Cardinal utility approach is supported by classical economists. Who are the classical economists? The four definitions. The four definitions, that is Adam Smith, Alfred Marshall, Daniel Robbins, and P.S. Samuelson. Okay, those four classical definitions of economics. So these four economists are called classical economists. Okay, the cardinal utility approach, it is supported by classical economists. So what they say, they argue that it is possible to measure utility. It is possible to measure utility. Cardinal means number. Cardinal means numbers. Okay? Like 1, 2, 3, 4. So cardinal means number. According to this approach, it is believed, the classical economists, they believe that it is possible to measure utility using cardinal numbers. Like 1, 2, 3. Okay? So how we use these numbers for addition, subtraction, multiplication, division? Same way we can use these numbers to measure utility. So if classical economists claim that it is possible to measure utility, so there should be some measuring standard. Like in India, we record accounts in terms of INR, Indian rupees. In America, American dollar. And same way in different countries, different currency is used to record accounts or accounting transactions. Right? Money measurement concept. All the transactions should be recorded or expressed in monetary terms. That we all know. Then immediately under the concept, what is said further? That accounting transactions should be recorded according to operating currency of the country. According to operating currency of the country. So in India, if your business is operating, you have to maintain your accounts according to INR. Okay? And if the same company is operating in America, then accounts will be maintained in forms of dollars. So as we have a standard for measuring, like liquids, milk and water, their measuring standard is liters. Then wheat, rice and all that, measuring standard is kg. Okay? Similarly, here the classical economists, they developed a standard, a measuring standard. So here measuring unit was measuring unit was utils. UTILS. Utility, utils. Okay? They may also ask you this for MCQ. So, according to Cardinal approach, utils is measuring standard or measuring unit for expressing satisfaction level in numbers. Okay? Then, ordinal utility approach. These 3 points are clear now, everyone? Ordinal utility approach. So ordinal is basically psychological. Utility approach. Instead of classical economics, we will write modern economics. It is supported by classical economics. It is supported by modern economics. So famous one is Hicks and famous modern economists are, we know classical economics, Adam Smith, Alfred Marshall, Daniel Robbins and C.S. Hamilton. Okay, modern economics, their full name I don't know, but popularly they are known as Hicks and Allen, 2 different economics. Okay. So, the modern economists, they argue that, they claim that it is not possible to measure utility. Yeah? Second group of economists, they argue that it is not possible to measure utility because satisfaction is about how do you feel about the product. So, feeling is a psychological phenomenon. Utility is a psychological phenomenon. Okay? Understanding everyone? Since utility is satisfaction and satisfaction is not physical, it's intellectual, internal. So it's a psychological phenomenon. It is a matter of feeling. How do you feel about a product? So they argue that it is not possible to measure utility as it is a psychological phenomenon. Psychological phenomena. Then they further say, however, a consumer can rank products. A consumer can rank products according to his or her preference. However, a consumer can rank products according to his or her preference. So suppose if you have to buy a phone, then your first preference may be iPhone, second may be there is some OnePlus, and third so on. For some others, Realme, for some particular model may be first preference. Okay? So how much do you like the product? According to your likelihood and according to your preference, you will rank products and accordingly you will spend your money to buy those products. Okay? Suppose now you want to have a cold drink. So one of you may prefer one of you may prefer Coca-Cola, then another may prefer Pepsi, another may prefer Sprite or 7-Up. So it is according to the preference of a particular consumer. Clear everyone? So since they believe that it is not possible to measure, so they have not given any measuring standard. Okay? Now, the law that is followed under this approach, what law we follow? So under this we follow LDMU, law of diminishing marginal utility. Law of diminishing marginal utility. Under cardinal utility approach, we follow law of diminishing marginal utility, and under ordinal utility approach we follow indifference curve. Indifference, I am not seeing here. Indifference okay. So ordinal utility approach is also called indifference curve analysis. Ordinal utility approach is also called as indifference curve analysis. Okay. Now we will understand the relationship between total utility and marginal utility. Okay. Not interested. So we discussed total utilities, utility or satisfaction derived from consuming all the units of a product, and marginal utility is utility derived from every extra unit of a product. Okay. So here at first unit it is equal. At first unit it is equal. So TU and MU is equal at first unit. Then after that, you see the next is the total utility increases, marginal utility decreases. Okay? TU increases and MU decreases. Then is maximum. Marginal utility is 0. Okay? mu is 0. And when PU starts falling, then mu become negative. So totally 4 relations. Okay? It's clear, or you have anyone has any confusion with these equations? This relationship between PU and mu? Here, PU starts falling down. From 50, it came down to 44. Every time PU increases, 20, 36, 46, 50. So it's increasing. And here it's constant. Here it is constant, 50, 50. Constant. Here it starts falling. So when PU starts falling, then mu becomes 0. Sorry, mu becomes negative. Negative means now you are completely saturated. You cannot continue to consume that product. That is called point of satiety something. That what is that? Point of satiety. SATIETY. This point is called point of satiety. Point of satiety means complete satisfaction. After this, beyond this, you cannot continue to consume that product. Okay? You are completely saturated. Maximum satisfaction. After that, if you continue, the satisfaction level goes down. Okay? So the same thing they can ask you in other way. At the point of satiety, what is the status of TU or what is the status of MU? So here you see T starts falling down. T starts falling down and MU becomes negative. Okay? They will just be concept is same but different way of asking question. Okay?
Sir, is there any particular theory for this? Like if TU decreases, MU will be negative.
And
how it is proved?
See, if you continuously, now this law of diminishing marginality, okay? Law of diminishing. Suppose now your dad came home, okay? So full day he is exhausted in office, and you give him one glass of juice. So the first glass of juice, he will be like very, very satisfied. Oh thank God, I am completely exhausted, completely tired. So one glass of juice, fresh up, completely energetic. Second glass, the satisfaction will come down a little. Marginality will come down little. Then if you give third glass, then fourth, then fifth. So after that you will say stop. Don't serve me so much. Okay? Right or wrong? Similarly, if you go to a hotel and you have the same item, if you are having pizza of the same flavor, you are not changing it. Okay? Continuously if you consume, how many can you have? A point will come where the most favorite ice cream, the most favorite pizza or the most favorite burger, whatsoever, you will throw it. Okay? Understanding everyone? Now suppose your best hero, like maybe Vijay, Tamil hero Vijay, or like Telugu hero, maybe Junior NTR or Ramcharan or someone, okay? Or Allu Arjun, right? Yeah. So Allu Arjun and these are like most favorite heroes. Most favorite hero, most favorite movie. From morning 6 o'clock to night 12 o'clock, can you see the same day? No. But one pizza today, one pizza tomorrow, one pizza next day, okay. Because there is a break, it's not continuous. Okay? That is what our next law will tell. I told it here only because you had a doubt. But the next law is all about that only. Law of diminishing marginal utility. Okay? Law of diminishing marginal utility. So this thing is clear?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So here you see 20 plus 16, 36. Okay? 36 plus 10, 46. So what is happening? TU is equal to sigma mu, like total of mu, total of marginal utility. 20, so 20 plus 16, so 36, 36 plus 10, so 46, 46 plus 4, so 50. Getting it? So one equation for TU is, it is total of mu, sigma mu. Okay? Then next thing is, if you just want to see from this side, then this is utility, right? This is utility. Like from first unit, please say. Another formula for TU is utility 1, utility 2, utility 3, and so on. Okay? Why? From first product you receive 20 utility, from second some amount. So when you add up, you get total utility. So we have two formula for total utility. Okay? Any confusion? So this sigma mu can also be written as marginality from first unit, that is marginality from first, marginality from second, marginality from third. Okay? You have to understand because they will twist the same question. But it is all the same. It's not different. Okay? It's not different. Any confusion with these two equations of total utility? So you can come to the first bench. Okay? First bench. Just bring the notebook. Okay. Okay, now we'll see the equation of marginal utility. So marginal utility, what is happening? Marginal utility, it is TU. Marginal utility, it is TU. All. So marginal utility, we have first equation is TU n times U n minus 1. Okay? Why is that? Because you see, first 20, then 36. So first utility is 20 and next is 36. So if I follow that, then 36 minus 20. 36 minus 20. So we will get 16. We will get 16. Next 46. So next 46. Then what will I do? 46 and the previous one is 36. So I will get 10. Understanding? Anyone who has doubt? Attend me. Okay. TU, that is total utility. Then TU n minus 1. So what we will do, every time total utility we will write total utility, and then the next total utility will minus. Suppose here the second one is 36, total utility is 36, and first one is 20. So what we will do, 36, that is present utility, minus the previous one, 20. So marginal utility is 16, that we got here. Okay? Next we will see. Present utility is 46. Okay? And previous one is 36. So 46 minus 36 is equal to 10. We are getting that. Got it? Clear everyone? The next equation for marginal utility is change in total utility divided by change in quantity. Another equation, change in total utility divided by change in quantity. Another equation for marginal utility. Change in total. Triangle means change. Change in total utility divided by change in quantity. Okay? Do you understand? Yeah? Okay. So, I'll ask questions. Now we see how it is happening. So see this one. We see from second. 36. So change in total utility is how much? Then change in total quantity. Total quantity change in 36 and 26. So it is changing. It is 16. Then change in quantity. So change in quantity is from 1 to 2. So 2 minus 1 is 1. 6. Correct? Not clear?
Not clear.
Okay. I'll erase this part. Okay? Changing quantity. So we'll see from second. Now changing total utility is 36 minus 20, that is 16. Then changing quantity is first one, then 2. So 2 minus 1, that will be 1. Correct? So 16 divided by 1, it will be obviously 16. It will be obviously 16. We have got that here. Okay? Next. So it will be 46 minus 36, then 3 minus 2. So it will be 10, 1. Clear? Should I continue or is done? Okay? So whether you follow first formula or you follow second formula, you will get the same marginal utility. Okay? If anybody wants me to repeat, please raise your hand. Okay. Next, I've already explained this of this table, but we have to do it. Law of diminishing marginal utility. Law of diminishing marginal utility. Okay. Law of diminishing marginal utility. So in textbook it is generally given very lengthy. How we can make it simple? That we have to go in reverse manner. Utility is satisfaction. Derived from marginal, that is extra unit. Okay? Marginal means additional unit or extra unit. So utility derived from extra or additional unit of a product decreases if consumed continuously. If consumed continuously. Okay. So according to this law, you can write according to this law. Okay, I'll tell another one from textbook which you find easy. You write that. The first thing is utility. We have to just reverse this line. Utility from every extra unit or additional unit decreases if consumed continuously. Okay. Next, what they have given here? Okay, here also it says only. LDME states that, just listen to it. LDME states that as we consume more and more units of a product, the utility derived from each extra unit, from every extra unit, the utility derived from every extra unit goes on decreasing. So it's easy only, right? No? Okay. Fine, then we just write that. According to this law, utility derived from every additional unit decreases when consumed continuously. Okay? Yeah? Just reverse. Utility derived from every additional unit. Instead of additional, you can also write extra. Every additional unit decreases. Diminishing means decreases when consumed continuously. When consumed continuously. I'll write it. Okay. Just write everyone. Instead of additional, you can also write extra. So as I gave an example, like a glass of juice, first glass is okay, even second is okay, third is okay, but after fourth or fifth glass, it will be like full, and if he or she is forcing, will run away, right? So our satisfaction is maximum, and beyond that point, we cannot continue. Clear? It is applicable in case of every product. This law applies to every product or service. This law applies to every product or service. Okay? So another important note to write that ADME is called as Gaussian's first law. Gaussian's. ADME is equal to, it is known as Gaussian's first law. Okay? Gaussian's first law of consumption. This law was introduced for the first time by H.S. Gaussian. So he was an economist. H.S. Gaussian was an economist, and he introduced this law for the first time. Okay, that is why this law is called Gaussian's first law. H.S. Gaussian introduced it for the first time, so this law is called as Gaussian's first law of consumption. Okay. and it has universal applicability. Universal applicability means in case of all goods and services and throughout the world it will apply. It is not that this law is applicable or operating only in India. Okay? So this law has universal applicability. Universal applicability. Okay? So, what do you all think? This law operates in real life, in your life or not?
Yes, sir.
It operates, right? And that is why, because of this law operating in our life, we do not spend our money, all our money. Suppose you have 10,000 rupees or somebody has 50,000 rupees. So you will never spend all your money just for one product because of this law. Because every extra unit of the same product will decrease our satisfaction level. And that is why we spend our income on many goods and services. Clear? So assumption of this law, like in what situation this law is applicable or will work. So first thing is, we assume that I told you this law is introduced under cardinal utility approach. So cardinal utility approach, it is saying that utility is measurable in numbers. So first assumption is that utility can be measured in terms of numbers. First assumption is utility can be measured in terms of numbers. Okay? Then second assumption is there should be continuous consumption. Continuous consumption. Because if there is break, like every day we can have ice cream. But the same day, the same moment, for that 1 hour back to back, no. Okay? So second assumption is there should be continuous consumption. Continuous consumption. Okay? In fact, even every day we cannot continue for long. Suppose your mom and dad start giving you your favorite food, like it may be pizza or maybe ice cream every day. Then after 1 week you'll tell, not required. I can't. I need something else. Correct? So even if it is continued for a week, we are fed up of that product. Correct? So there is continuous consumption. That is next assumption. Clear now? Next, there should be no change. In taste, quality, size, and all that of a product. For example, now if we are getting different flavor of ice cream or pizza for that moment, like first it was different flavor, then second obviously taste is different, so fine, we can have it. And even if you have full pizza and they just ask you one small piece, no problem. So when size of the product is changing, or when taste of the product is changing, when quality of the product is changing, again this law will not operate. So the next assumption is there should be no change. There should be no change. Okay? In taste or quality or size of the product. Okay?